Good morning and welcome to Coffee Ann, the longest running panel discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question of the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email coffee@woonsocketradio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee Ann panel.
All right, it's Coffee Ann here on ON, AM and FM. Thanks for joining us this morning. I'm Joe Callahan. We have a full slate of people here around the Coffee Ann table. And we'll start with Amanda LaRose from Navigate Credit Union. Hi, Amanda.
Good morning, everyone.
Nice to have you here. Nice
Thank
for you to bring
you.
your daughter here to see how the whole inner workings work.
She's so cute.
2-hour delay in Cumberland, so it's bring your
cute.
daughter to work
Bring your
school.
daughter to
work day.
to the radio day. I'm sure she could really brighten up the conversation this morning.
I'm sure she would if she would get over her nerves.
Oh,
she would
she's
be fine.
shy.
She waved to me. You know, like little kid wave, like
Yep. How old is she?
stranger.
She's 9.
9. Oh, okay. She looks older.
Yeah, she's tall.
I would have thought 12.
Yeah, she's
but
tall.
okay.
Don't tell her that.
Well, I'm sorry. She
just
just
heard
heard
it now,
it. Melissa Smith is here from the St. Antoine Communities. Hi, Melissa.
Morning, everybody.
So you get no trash pickup in North Smithfield
I
today.
got mine out on Monday, so
Oh, you're
I'm
okay.
with the snow. So mine was a
Now,
different kind of barrier.
Well,
but
what about St. Antoine Communities? When do they get their trash picked up?
every day.
Oh, every day. Okay.
Every day.
Well, not today though.
Not today.
So something to be aware of. All right, John Ward is here from the
Good
Woonsocket
morning,
City
good
Council.
morning, everyone.
How are you there, John?
I'm well. How are you?
We're doing well, thanks. Got through all the rain yesterday, so that was good.
I expect a little flooding a little later today because
expecting it?
I got a notice about the fact that the Woonsocket Falls Dam is broken,
Oh,
and so
Oh,
it's just
swell.
wide open. So
Right at Market Square?
the rain, yes, the
Okay.
rain.
The
rain,
river's
yeah,
just
they say
running?
it'll be an all natural event.
Uh-huh.
So the rain that comes out of the melted snow and the rain coming into the river upstream will just keep filling it, and usually they crest a little after the storm finishes. So maybe this afternoon we'll see some additional flooding in some areas of
All right.
Cumberland.
sounds so
and,
calm.
and,
Well,
the
he's not in the
bypass
floodplain.
occasionally will flood out.
Yeah.
For a while.
Yeah.
I know Sylvester's Pond overflowed, but I'm not sure what that was all about last time. Maybe, and I know they said St. Joseph's, Monsignor, blah, 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 Catholic Regional School is closed because of
Yes,
flooding.
flooding.
And if you've ever been to the backyard of what was St. Joseph's School, when I was growing up, usually the brook on the side fills up.
Yeah.
Now because they piped it, it overfills and it comes right up to the foundation of the school. And if it's flooding, it means that there's probably more water than normal, and it's right inside the school at some point.
Oh, well, okay.
So,
That's why good idea there's no school today then.
That first floor,
Yeah.
the bottom there is,
It gets the worst.
it's in a floodplain.
Gotcha. All right, Melissa, it's time for a first message from the St. Antoine Communities, please.
Still amazed at how calm you are.
Nothing to worry about.
Wait, are your galoshes out? Is your like
there's
wading pants
It's
out?
how I react to inevitable things.
And how about your wife?
If there was an urgency that I could actually make a change to something, then you react accordingly and accelerate your pace and things. But it's like, I'm not going to stop the river. I'm not going to stop the water from flowing downhill.
Right, so how about Mrs. Ward? So how is she reacting to this possibility? Because I just feel like for every calm spouse, there's one that's not.
Bouncing off the walls.
Getting all the albums out of the basement, getting all like just
We don't actually have a problem with flooding at my house. Our house is a raised ranch where the foundation's only about 4 feet into the ground, and the water table goes below us. Neighbors 2 doors down have sump pumps that run pretty much 24 hours a day, and
Rely on them, okay.
And they deal with pretty bad flooding. But
I'm wondering how
we've-
Tim's going to do
I've
today
been in-
because
I've-
last storm he got.
He's got
Tim
issues
has some
today.
water in the basement.
Oh, is that why you're here?
No, I'm
Oh.
here originally. He
Plans,
asked me,
okay.
but he said he's working from home today because he has some water again, and his backyard, side yard, whatever part of the yard, is currently a fishing pond right now.
All
He
right.
said that never used to be an issue in like the last couple storms. He's had an
That's-
in-ground pool that he
then
did
I-
not plan
Yes.
for.
I have to assume that he would look around and find that there was some housing development made in the area that shifted the water,
Yeah.
which happens frequently. They cleared out some land and across the street from me behind the neighbors' houses, and all of a sudden where the water goes changes very quickly, and it piles up in certain places. none of which has to do with the message you have to deliver.
Nothing has, right, but this is what I love to do is to go rogue. We just,
we'll get
you
back
know.
to it eventually.
I know, right. So
I'm trying to
I'm here
act
to
like a
talk about
producer.
St. Antoine community, not about flooding in Tim's basement, although I'm very concerned about Tim's basement and I'm worried about Mrs. Draper as well because although I think he might be the more like overreactive one, she might be the calm one in their house. But so anyways, back to St. Antoine where there's no flooding, happy to report. We are a large long-term care campus located in North Smithfield, and we're on the line of Blackstone, Mass. And Woonsocket. And on our property, we offer an expansive continuum of services that range from assisted living to short and long-term skill care. We have a state-of-the-art rehab center, a private hospice suite, as well as a large secured memory care unit. And the two buildings on our property are the Villa at St. Antoine, which is our 76-apartment assisted living facility. And we have the Residence at St. Antoine, which is our 180-bed short and long-term skill care facility. So if you're presently at a crossroads with your loved one and trying to determine when is the right time to seek more help and support, I encourage you to reach out to me. I'd be happy to walk you through your options. You can call me at 401-767-3500. Thank you.
All right, Melissa, thanks. We reported a little earlier today that Route 146 north and south were closed due to flooding and stranded vehicles. John's just taking a look at his phone. Which TV station are you looking at? Channel 10 says they're reopening Route 146 now. So I guess they get the cars out of there and they'll push the water away. So thank goodness. So
Well, I feel
that's
bad. We have a
open.
lot of friends that live right like that Sales Hill turn onto Iron Mine through
Yeah.
North Smithfield.
Yeah.
So from 146, that big intersection for those of you that know the Subaru dealership.
Yeah.
So the other end of it, which is Iron Mine that dumps out. So most of the kids' school traffic heads through that area. Probably about 150 kids come through that belt. It's flooded out on the opposite end. So
Yeah.
you can't go right to get onto 146 north to go back roads to North Smithfield school systems. But you also can't go in the other direction. So they're trapped today. But we have school. We didn't have a delay.
No
but,
delay at all, no.
But a good amount of kids are, and parents, I'm sure, are very stressed. But now that 146 has reopened, thank you for
good.
that update. I'm sure that they're relieved to get their kids out the door.
Some kids may be late to school in North Smithfield. All right.
Yep.
As of Wednesday morning, Bill Belichick is still the coach of the New England Patriots.
But Mike Vrabel got fired.
Got fired yesterday. Yeah.
Is that
so,
an interesting timing or what?
We'll see. Yeah.
No.
Is
Why
this going
would
to be
they
a
have
daily
fired him?
watch now?
It is.
I
It's
think
the Bill
so.
Belichick watch since Sunday. Okay, what's happened today? Nothing. Okay. It was all day yesterday. Is anything happening? Not yet. Okay. So
And
we just
certainly
keep
can't
waiting.
look for a change in his facial expression.
No, you never tell by him. So
Yeah, and normally when players are, you can kind of sense when a player is leaving or there's
yep,
kibitz over that. There's like family photos on the field kind of moments.
that was Matthew Slater on
There
Sunday.
was none of that with Belichick. So I'm like,
I was actually looking for that when he was going off the field. Would he like wave to the crowd or something like that?
Something,
But he
nothing.
didn't do it. So
I
I'm
know,
like,
I watched it too.
I was like, all
It's
right,
the only part of the game I watched. I was like,
that was the best part. But that just tells me he wants to stay. He wants to
Yeah.
stay. He wants to coach another year because he's still under contract for another year.
And his whole family's here. I mean, I've talked about Amanda Belichick being a coach at Holy Cross, where my husband is, and she's been there a long time. Her family's here, her kids, etc. His sons are here, their kids are. It's just, he's got a house in Nantucket. It'd be a lot to uproot, I think. But I know that the NFL is, or any professional league is used to that bouncing effect. But he's been here a long time. He's rooted.
Thoughts, Amanda, on BB? None whatsoever.
I'll wait with
everybody else.
anticipation. Yes.
I think she's being sarcastic.
I felt it. I felt that a little bit.
Sarcasm. All right. So John, the Woonsocket City Council had their meeting on Monday, and so the Athena's statue has been approved.
Has been approved.
Does that need to be approved
it's
again?
It's just Athena statue, our small share of the funding for the total package, which will probably be about $10,000 installed. I did ask, make sure that I want to make sure that we recognize the purpose of it was
Of the
for
breast cancer? Okay.
research,
Good.
that they were doing the fundraising. So I guess they're going to do some other fundraising that to finish out the collection
cost,
of the money
okay.
necessary to do it. But I think the city money will serve as a good down payment to secure the thing and get the work started on acquiring the statue.
Nice to see that the entire city council was behind it.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's like I said, I was skeptical. I know Scott McGee was skeptical because I wondered, is that something that is often done where the community actually steps up and ponies up some money. But then I started looking around, and if you ever go Google Guinness World Record monuments around the world,
A lot.
oh my God,
So it is done.
there's statues that I mean, the world's largest boots, and there they are out in the middle of Texas somewhere. They're all out on display somewhere. But there's others where there's just statues and
Okay.
memorial stones recognizing
That this
the
event
accomplishment.
took place
And
here.
This would do the same thing here.
You know what the accomplishment was for Athena's? It's the world's longest chain of bras hooked together, over 5,000.
Oh, it was. I don't even remember the number.
And
It was a huge number.
and they
This
did it.
was last year, right? She did this, or 2
Two-
years
It was a
ago?
couple of years
2
ago.
years
Yeah.
ago.
And they did it over at Rivers Edge
Yes.
Athletic Complex, and so that's where they want to put
And
the.
somebody actually had to count them.
That's right, from Guinness. So okay,
Just
one,
Laughing
two.
at typical boys over there, like someone had to count them.
Well,
Oh, you had to make sure you had the right
No,
amount.
I mean, you got to make sure you've got a
Sounds
record.
like a terrible job.
My question is who was the first person to set that record,
Say,
and
let's
why
do
is
this.
it a record? You know, I mean, there's things that are records, and you wonder
Why?
who cares.
Yes.
And it's like, okay, so who
Yeah.
first strung bras together
And said I can make
and
a chain
said,
of those.
Guinness, come down here. We got a record
and
we got you
count.
to put. And they actually said, oh, okay, that sounds like a legitimate record, because she actually broke a record in doing it.
I think we should come up with something that we should set a record for right here on the show this morning.
Come up with something.
We'll come up with something so we can register ourselves
Register
with
ourselves with
Navigant
Guinness.
tried to break a world record, a Guinness Book of World Record, a couple of years ago at McCoy Stadium. It was getting the most people in a group together to sing "If You're Happy and You Know It."
Oh, that's right, they did.
Yes, and we were short by I think like
Not a
100
lot.
people.
Oh, that's
Less
like
than
so.
100
That is that
people.
like looking up in the World Book.
Yeah,
or
you
the
go,
Guinness World
go
Book of
find
Records,
the record. But again,
finding something funny and saying we're gonna beat
We
that.
we
Yeah.
can.
Okay,
Okay,
That's
I'm
something
talking
we
about
can be
coming up with
accomplished.
something cutting edge. We got to come up with something that's never
So
been
you
done
want to be
right
the
now.
first person
Yes.
to
well,
start.
but each one of
Oh,
those
all right.
started with someone doing it the first time. So who started the group
Yes.
singing "Happy"? If You're
Probably
happy
a
and you know it?
kindergarten class.
Like,
Well, they probably
Where
got
did-
together.
where
and
did
then it
each of those
grew into a
begin?
school.
It was a school.
It-
that
okay.
did it.
I mean,
Yeah.
I get it if you got a person who can walk across the United States in the shortest amount of time. Yeah, okay. There's a record. There's a target. It's not uncommon, but stringing bras together. I'm gonna go string bras together. So let's see how we can do the most.
Well, we start with 100, and okay, I got the record.
But
and then
Let's
someone
do the
comes up with
fastest
200.
grocery
What's the-
shopping
I mean,
trip.
this one had a reason, a charitable purpose.
On it.
This one had a charitable purpose.
We'll
right.
win it.
When the first person started hooking bras together, what was the charitable purpose, or what was
Maybe
the
there
purpose?
wasn't one at the time.
Maybe there wasn't one. So,
Maybe that's how they did their dry
and
cleaning.
why did Guinness come in and say, "Oh yeah, that's a good record. We're gonna put
We're
that,
gonna put that in the book."
It might have
Yeah.
been someone who was like air drying their bras, like stringing them up on the line, and came up with a way to clasp them to make it. He
Clasp.
ran
Hey,
out
look
of
at that. That's a-
clothespins, and they clasped them together. I don't know. What does it matter?
But Dave said there were over 194,000 bras
Wow.
hooked together.
And knowing
But
how
someone had to
expensive
go
bras
together.
are, that's a lot of money.
Well,
worth
that's
of
why they had to
bras.
go to the River's Edge, because they went down.
They,
the
well, they,
field,
they made a
back
big
the
they made a
field.
big oval out of it.
Oh, is it an oval?
Yeah.
I thought they might have just strung them out lengthwise
Yeah.
up and down.
This is
the
an
field.
enlightening conversation
and
for your
someone had
daughter
to-
to be listening into.
And
Right
someone had to crimp them
But
together.
that's what's going to stimulate an idea about what you can do to set your own
Great.
record.
I don't know if you ever saw this. I don't know if it was a record, but I saw a video of this, and it was how many bras you could unhook in the fastest amount of time. So they actually had women wearing bodysuits, okay? So the bra was over the
Bras on
bodysuit,
top.
and there was some guy that went down the line, and I've never seen anything like it.
Flicking them
Flick,
open.
flick, tick, 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 and it did like 30 in like 10 seconds. I'm like, wow. But I don't know. I don't know if
Feature
that's a
story
real.
in Sports Illustrated. I
That's a new
feel like.
documentary on Netflix.
I think yeah, we should be looking into that kind
Oh
of stuff.
my
That's
gosh,
right.
so
But
true.
who knows? Anything can be a record.
This is a
and
pretty
that could be
wild
one as well.
conversation for the. I haven't even
All
had
right.
a cup of coffee yet. This is.
Well, it's good that Athena's got the okay from
Yes.
to put one up, so
To get,
it'll move
yes, the
forward.
process
from
will
Sideways
begin,
fast.
and eventually, hopefully, sometime during when the weather's better in summer,
there. Okay.
it'll
Construction
be
will start.
done and it'll be placed.
All right. Great.
In the park.
Any idea of what the statue will be? Did they say
What
that?
it will be?
Yeah.
Well, it's going to be a base with the
square,
engraved not recognition of the event,
Okay.
and then it's going to be a statue of Athena.
That's right. You mentioned that on Monday. That's right. The,
8
the,
feet
the
tall.
goddess of Athena. Cool. All right.
I think 8 feet because the spear goes over her head.
Yeah.
I think it's probably a life-size kind of thing.
All right. It is time for a second message from the St. Antoine communities. Melissa, so back to you, please.
Time is flying when
Flying
you're
by.
talking about stringing bras.
That's right. It goes by fast,
And making
doesn't
a
it?
memorial. Segueing into my second message about St. Antoine community. Wasn't a smooth transition this morning. So you heard me talk a little bit in my earlier message about the fact that we have a 76 apartment assisted living facility and we have a 180 bed short and long-term skill care facility. Well, we're hoping by mid-April, maybe beginning of May, we will be adding a 24-unit memory care assisted living on the property of St. Antoine Community, but located at our nursing home, St. Antoine Residence. Sounds a little odd, I know, to put an assisted living within the building of it, but we had the space and we did a major renovation with some state funding that we received in a grant a couple years ago during the pandemic. We saw the need and we addressed the need, and we're really excited, especially my role being in charge of marketing and communications and listening to a lot of families and meeting and touring a lot of families and really hearing what's out there. And affordable memory care is definitely more and more on the horizon for folks right now that are doing long-term care planning and needing additional options at an affordable rate. So we're excited to offer it. Hopefully, as I'm on the air every week, we're getting closer and closer to a final announcement date. It feels like a moving target right now, but if you're interested or you know someone that might be interested in getting signed up, we have a wait list already started. Again, it's only a 24 apartment unit. So there will be limited spots because I already have a generous amount of folks reaching out. But call me at 401-767-3500. Be happy to talk to you about what's going on at home and how we can help you out. Thank you.
All right there, Melissa. Thanks. More of the Coffee and program coming your way. Comments and questions can be called in at 766-1240, and we get to a message when we come back.
This is Ed Carew of the Carew Investment Group, 765-8880, with some simple advice about investing. The truth is, there is no simple advice about investing. The old days of financial uptrends and downtrends, lasting for days, weeks, and months or longer, are gone. Sometimes trends last only part of a day before changing direction. Investing is not an activity for those who cannot take the time to study and see each twist and turn for the opportunity that it truly presents. Since 1987, I've seen them all, and I'll invest your money the same way I invest for myself. Carefully, very carefully. And it won't cost you a nickel to talk about it with me. So call me, Ed Carew, at 765-8880 right here in Woonsocket. Securities offered through Bolton Global Capital, member FINRA, SIPC. Advisory services offered through Bolton Global Asset Management, a registered investment advisor.
It's party time. Time for the Northern Rhode Island Council of the Arts 29th Annual Mardi Gras. Running for 2024 Mardi Gras Queen are Lauren Fagnant, Jean Michon, and Denise Salasis. Get your tickets today for the Queen Coronation on Sunday, February 4th at the Italian Workingmen's Club and the Mardi Gras Ball on Saturday, February 10th at the St. Anne Arts and Cultural Center. Don't wait. Tickets will sell out. Call 401-486-9380 or visit nrica.org.
The Coffee and panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee Roasters. All their coffee is roasted right here in Rhode Island. Down East Coffee Roasters is available at all Little General stores.
ON Radio.
Coffee and on ON. Thanks for joining us. I'm Joe Callahan here with Amanda LaRose, Melissa Smith, and John Ward. And we got a note in back to the Patriots. Just says Mike Vrabel has just gotten fired by the Tennessee Titans.
Yes.
He is a defensive coach. Rumors have it that the Patriots might be interested in him. And they just said we need offensive help first and foremost. Well, their offensive coordinator, Bill O'Brien, I don't see him leaving. He just needs better players.
Yeah,
And,
isn't that always the problem?
Yeah, we need better. Not the
Well,
coaching's fine. We just need better
I'm frankly
players.
always fascinated by how large a difference they can be consistently over a season between teams when you think about how good these athletes must be just to get to the NFL.
Yes.
How can you have such a difference in the quality of their play? I mean, physically, they're all at a level that none of us have ever come close to. And yet, somehow, that's why I think it's coaching sometimes, but then it's not. Because then you see what I call the Brady effect, which is how he can affect the outcome of an entire team. Even though Belichick was a great coach and he had some good offensive and defensive coaches, there's a clear difference. And the physicality's there.
It's a talent thing.
It's this innate talent
Yeah.
that I guess you have or you don't have. So you can be the biggest brute you want on the offensive line, but going off in that first tenth of a second, if you head in the wrong direction slightly,
You're done.
it's the difference between a successful player or a failure.
Yeah.
And that's instinct.
It
I
was
guess.
over, oh my gosh, 30 years ago. The New England Patriots had a place kicker named Scott Sisson. He lasted one season, and he was lousy. And people actually brought signs to Gillette Stadium saying the home of Missin' Sisson because he couldn't hit anything. People took those signs away. But anyway, I thought about that then. I said, you know, you made it to the pros, which means you were decent, you were good, or actually
So
very
what
good in
happened?
college, and you got a college scholarship, which means you were good in high school. What happened?
Psychological
what
impact.
has changed?
It may be
I think it has
psychological.
to be. You don't even
know,
know
you're
how
on the-
many like.
The difference between the small stage and the big stage, and maybe when you
100%.
get to the big stage, it's like the nerves.
Yep,
And
anxiety, panic attacks, they're real things.
that much difference in where the foot places on the ball, and all of a sudden you just can't
You
make
can't
that
get it right.
thing
You're
go
talking
through
the crowd,
bars.
you're talking the press,
Yeah.
there's just like different
The
layers
expectations,
of
and
all
of course,
that.
every time you miss, it gets worse.
That's right, because you put more pressure on yourself.
Right, and chemistry matters. I think that like even as managers, you also like even just to like bring it into layman's terms in a sense, but like yeah, chemistry in your team matters. Like getting the best out of someone who could be the brightest, most educated person working for you, just may not have the right chemistry to blend with the group, and it can really like infest their brain and their head and how they perceive themselves and their abilities, and insecurities creep in. I look at that with professional athletes
that-
all the time. I think it's
That's why I've always used my slogan of when you're going to hire somebody, it's like hire for attitude, train for skills.
100%.
You can train anybody for skills.
You're absolutely right.
But
Yeah.
you can't train people for attitude.
You really can.
So get the attitude in the door, and then just make sure they get trained to do the
Sometimes
job right.
the theory is getting them right out of college. Not all college students today, but some of them, if you can get them right out of college and you can mold them into what you want them to be and kind of just set
Yeah.
that bar, because otherwise like you're inheriting somebody else's style and technique, and yeah, there's a lot we could go into.
That was the most horrific indictment of the next generation of
Yeah.
students I've ever heard.
I don't think you disagreed, which is why you chuckled. But they all want to work from home. My God, put the
The ones that
pajama
wanna
pants
work.
away and get out of the house.
The ones that want to work. Well,
All right.
I mean, I did receive something. Speaking of working from home, I did receive something, and in selling it, the ticket, the only choice had nothing to do with send me cash, send me a check, bring me money, do this, do that, do that. It was just
Scan this.
a cute, Venmo.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
okay, that's great. I'm still into paper checks.
shows your
and
age.
my wife and my daughter-in-law are exchanging cash like it's candies, using Venmo, and it's like my phone
Zelle.
ain't got that here. Ain't doing it.
Oh yeah.
I don't transfer cash on here except from one Navigant account to the other, or this bank account to that, and I know that it's all under my thumbprint, and nobody's going to steal it. But
Well, Amanda's kids might be too young, but Melissa, have you taught your oldest how to write a check?
Yes.
Okay. Has it stuck yet? Because it hasn't stuck with my daughter.
No.
I have to keep watching her.
No,
what
we
goes
actually
where?
right. Well, even filling out an envelope
Have
to
you-
mail
have
something.
you taught them how to make change?
the
Yeah,
cash
she's a
register does that for you.
cashier, so she actually
right.
commented the other day that more and more people are paying with cash again at the grocery store.
Are they?
She's like, because she works the front desk at her grocery store, so she has to like reconcile at the end of the shift. But she said, I can't get over how many. She'll do like 30,000 in sales during her shift, and she's like, of that, it's probably about 12,000 or so.
In cash?
That's cash, and I'm
Alright.
like, that's crazy to me. Where was I
But,
going?
she can't address an envelope.
Right. Well, yeah, it's
Well, she can,
problematic,
but,
but I don't know that they teach those
why
skills
don't they-
anymore,
I was
right?
taught
And
that in
how
the
often
third
do
grade.
we, even mail things these days,
Yeah, I
right?
know.
So there's that. But with Venmo, I was just thinking a minute ago when you were talking about that, like I have major trust issues with Venmo. I keep waiting for them to get hacked somehow, and I can't get over it. It is too easy to just fundraisers for town now.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is Venmo, like whatever. Everything is through just a click of a button, and I'm like, if they get hacked, how does that
I don't know.
impact all of us?
We'll find out someday.
Maybe
I'm
that's
sure.
why people aren't trusting technology anymore and going back to old school methods.
Does Venmo or Zelle, do they have insurance that would cover if something happened and people lost money?
I have to tell you, when I signed up for it, I don't even know if I read the fine
Oh,
print,
that's right.
which is
they
awful
Zelle.
to say.
They don't Venmo, they Zelle to each other.
Some people Zelle. Yeah.
There's a couple of them: Cash App, Venmo, Zelle.
Yeah.
But most of them are required to have some type of insurance on
Okay.
it and authentication and kind of protection, just like you would with your debit card if you went to a store or something.
Well,
so
even with like debit cards versus credit cards, and I know they've cleared up some of this differentiation, but even so, when I leave the zip code I live in, basically, well, no, the state. If I leave the state, I'm using a pure credit card. I am not using a debit card that could be a credit card, but I don't want to take the chance that, and I do that. My son was, when he was first in the Navy, and he ended up going over to Spain, and he was doing a little touring in Spain while he was waiting for the ship to come pick him up. Somebody hacked his debit card.
Wow.
And it just takes so much more effort to get it cleared up than it would with a credit card. With a credit card company, very clearly, you know it, you see it instantly, and it's like, okay, stop it.
Yeah.
And it gets taken care of. The debit card was a little trickier. He was in the middle of the ocean on the way back before we even realized there was a problem. And it was a little trickier because he had to get, ready for this, on board a ship in the middle of the Atlantic, get a power of attorney for us to act on his behalf in order to clear up the issue with the debit card.
Oh my God.
Oh, so when I leave, like when I went across the country,
Yeah.
if I was going to buy a stick of gum, I
Credit
was
card?
going to use the credit card. Only use the credit card.
All right.
I want access to recovery quickly
Just in case.
and cleanly.
All right. Other things going on. News story: a man out of Woonsocket, 28-year-old man, was indicted. One count, first-degree child molestation. Hate reading stories like this. Said the alleged incident happened in Woonsocket in July of 2023. I don't know why it takes him so long to get the indictment around, but it's 6 months later, and here it is. Why doesn't it happen faster? I know you got to build the case and like that and make sure it sticks. I get it, but it still seems to take quite a while. He will be arraigned later in January in Providence Superior Court. His name is Bruce Silva, 28-year-old man from Woonsocket. So
Bruce needs to be careful because I don't think the people, even prisoners and criminals, don't like child molesters.
correct. Yeah, you tend to get.
He may learn
beat up.
firsthand. He may learn firsthand as the recipient of
I'm okay with that.
molestation.
that's right. I think we talked about this on Monday, John, but now I guess now it's official up there in Massachusetts that Governor Healey's going to cut spending
Oh yes, we did.
because the state
After they
faces
gave out the refunds, they have to cut spending because the receipts aren't coming in as well as
they face a $1 billion tax refund shortfall, revenue shortfall.
Who'd have thunk it? I'm trying. How can they possibly have that much of a revenue shortfall?
I don't know.
Projected? I mean,
Well,
what-
Healey's very big on
Does it
you
say,
get it for free, and you
does
get
it-
it for free, and you
does
get it for free.
Does it say what kind of revenue it's short? Or
Tax collections have fallen short of estimates for 6 straight months, causing the funding gap.
yeah, but I mean, there's all kinds of taxes. There's sales taxes. There's income taxes. There's estate taxes. There's
Well, she said a
excise taxes.
$375 million in cuts will impact 60 programs, including the state health insurer Mass Health and a state supplement to Social Security. This gets you reelected,
It just makes me laugh. Like, meanwhile, our state is just put into effect, like, a state of emergency for, well, the healthcare system, essentially, but long-term care hospitals, et cetera. But it's like, then you're over the border and they're doing a big impact to Mass Health. And it just seems upside down.
what-
Everything seems upside down.
what
right
I
now.
love is they put all of these burdens legislatively on nursing homes for staffing,
Yep.
as though it doesn't cost anything.
So it doesn't cost anything.
And then the Medicaid reimbursements are not going up anywhere near as fast as the cost of operating facilities that use Medicaid receipts, and Medicare is not keeping up with the costs. And so, whether it's a nursing home or a home health care agency or a visiting nurse association operation, they're all completely underfunded to keep a competitive salary for staff.
Yep.
And so they lose people to McDonald's.
We're
where you-
supposed to be
where you-
getting a reimbursement increase this
Right,
fall,
but some
and
of it
that's
has to
rumor
go
mill.
directly to salaries.
Right, and it's going to
And you
cover. It's
can't-
going to.
It doesn't cover the
It's
administrative
going to cover
costs.
debt. Like it's going to,
Doesn't cover the buildings.
we've been carrying this for years, even before the pandemic. The pandemic just worsened it. But everything needs to be addressed at the root of the problem, and you can't even figure out, like through the weeds, what the problem is because it's so deep now.
The problem is that every year they say we're going to run a deficit, then they run a surplus,
Mm-hmm.
and then they can't. But in running the surplus, we're underfunding health agencies, we're underfunding education, we're underfunding road and bridge repairs, we're underfunding, and the only thing that gets funded fully is the Joint Legislative Council, the General Assembly, and the
It goes on and on and on.
the administrative offices for staffing in the state. And yet the people out there that are contracted to do work that is funded through the government for the purpose of being more cost efficient are underfunded and can't get it done. Or they get it done, but it's got to be miraculously because between knowing what you go through and nursing homes are going through with all this staffing requirements that are subject to fines, but they haven't
you don't
fined
do it.
anybody yet because they're afraid that the minute they find somebody, it'll be like, okay, lock the door, we're going now, bye-bye.
Wow.
And, you don't want to put half the nursing homes in the state out of business.
Well, they were already going out of business. I
Right.
mean, everyone is. The underground conversation is everyone is close to closing their doors, and that can't happen. I mean, assisted livings that are majority private pay, small portion Medicaid, they're okay. Private pay facilities, they're okay, but because they're also charging like crazy
Right.
rates.
Oh, yeah.
But those that largely support the Medicaid population and low-income population, you can't even make ends meet. It blows my mind, even just recruitment strategies. They talked about one of the reasons for declaring the state of the emergency was the fact that the fines were really burying facilities, that if you weren't matching the staffing requirements stated by the state of Rhode Island, that you were going to be fined, and you are fined like $10, $20, $30, $40,000 during your survey. It blows my mind because you can't even recruit. You're competing. We have 3 facilities around us that we're competing with, so people are just hopping.
Yeah.
That's all they're doing. They're hopping for the sign-on bonuses. They're staying for 6 months, and then they're going to play. So the employees they're in a position of power in a sense, even though there's not a huge overabundance of staff right now to choose from, because there's a shortage of nursing staff in the state overall. But it's just when you have that small population betting against each other, facilities can't stay above water with staffing, therefore they're buried with fines, and it just keeps. It's just never-ending cycle.
That snowball rolling
So they're
downhill.
lifting the
Downhill.
fines, and we're thrilled about that, but that does nothing in terms of recruiting effort and
Right.
what you have to pay someone just to get them into your building now. It's getting out of control, and like you started to say too, it's how do you compete with the Amazon drivers and even McDonald's? You can go work there for $20 an hour right now, and I'm not knocking it at all. I'm just saying for a certified nurse's aide who's gone through training in a very emotionally and physically taxing job like they have, which no one wants to do, they're making $15, $16 an hour. Like,
Yeah.
that makes no sense. So-
Compare a cleanup in room 25 versus a cleanup in aisle 4.
That's right. A big difference.
Big difference.
Big difference.
Yeah.
All right, we can take a break here in the Coffee and program. More is coming your way. Time for a look at the forecast being brought to you by Mothers Against Drunk Driving.
Cloudy skies becoming mostly sunny and temperatures falling all day to about 42 by 5 p.m. Winds from the southwest up to 30 miles per hour. Tonight, mostly clear, overnight low of 31 degrees. Thursday's weather, sunshine and 43. Friday, sunshine and 43 again. Friday night, lots of rain possible, mainly after 8 p.m. Rain could be heavy at times. Overnight low around 32 degrees, which could make you wonder about snow. But they're not saying snow in the forecast yet. Winds will gust over 40 miles per hour Friday night. Saturday, rain in the morning, ending. Windy continues all day. Wind gusts to gale force all day on Saturday. Saturday night, partly cloudy skies and 28, so things will freeze. Sunday, mostly sunny with a high of 35. MLK Day on Monday, partly sunny and 37. And on Tuesday, partly sunny, and they're saying it, a 30% chance of snow with a high of 34 on Tuesday.
Currently outside the Navigate Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Ave and Kennedy Street under partly sunny skies, we have 52 degrees. For victims of drunk and drug driving, your grief is unique, but you are not alone. You will always have a place at MAD. Call the 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org. For home-style cooked meals, you'll always be happy you decided to stop into Missy's Family Restaurant. They're open 7 days a week at 7 a.m. Breakfast is served all day. Great food, tasty food, with large portions is what you'll find at Missy's Family Restaurant. From juicy burgers and crispy fries to satisfying pasta dishes and fresh seafood. Bring your loved ones, enjoy a meal that will leave you feeling happy and satisfied. Missy's Family Restaurant, 801 Clinton Street, Woonsocket. Come on down and taste the difference.
You know, when you're paying the right price for protection, you just know it. It's that warm, fuzzy, totally secure feeling, knowing that you're not only getting great coverage, but you're also not paying too much for it. And when it comes to your insurance, there's no one better at getting the right price for your protection than Allstate agents Kara and Celeste Benjamin, because they know when it comes to your bank account, every penny counts towards something bigger, something better. Like a nicer car, that home update you've been dreaming of, or a phone that's fresh out of the box. Those little or big things that we work so hard for. And Kara and Celeste Benjamin want to help you work a little less by getting you the coverage you need and the savings you deserve when you switch to Allstate. Contact Kara and Celeste Benjamin at the Benjamin Agency. One agency, 2 locations in North Smithfield and Bellingham. 765-5000 for a free quote today. Allstate, you're in good hands. And you're in good hands with Kara and Celeste Benjamin at the Benjamin Agency. Savings vary based on the average annual savings reported by new auto customers surveyed in 2019 who switched to Allstate.
Hello, this is Manny Brando. I hope you will listen to us each Sunday morning at 8:30. I will sing your favorite songs, and my wife Virginia will organize everything.
That's right, Manny. It's the Manny and Virginia Show every Sunday morning at 8:30 on ON, AM, and FM radio.
Okay, it is Coffee and here on ON, AM, and FM. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan here, along with John Ward, Melissa Smith, and Amanda LaRose from Navigant Credit Union. And Amanda, it's time for your first message from Navigant Credit Union.
So should I go off on a rant about something else and then go back? No.
Yes. That'll be fun.
Is she mocking us?
So our annual meeting for all of Navigant's shareholders and all of our members is next Monday, January 22nd at 4 p.m. It is a hybrid model, so you can watch virtually or attend in person. You do need to register online. If you would like more information, you can go to our website at www.navigantcu.org or call our contact center at 401-233-4700.
Very good, Amanda. Thank you very much. I want to remind everyone that American Legion Post 85 at 870 River Street is having a coat giveaway this Saturday, January 13th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. If you need a coat, just show up and no questions asked. Various sizes for men, women, and children are available. So if you need a coat, just stop by to 870 River Street, American Legion Post 85. They are proud to support the community. All right, we're going to need Melissa and Amanda's opinion on this.
It's a girl topic.
No, it's not a girl topic. It's a sports topic.
Oh,
So last week,
women's sports.
no,
Oh,
actually.
okay.
So last week was the big brouhaha at Mount Pleasant High School
Okay.
boys basketball game
Oh,
where
yes.
4 people were arrested.
Yes.
They say 2 adults and 2 kids, 2 juveniles, but the 2 adults were 18 and were students there. So it's really 4 students were arrested. Someone brought a gun. So the word is going out. There's a game tonight at Mount Pleasant High, boys basketball versus LaSalle. If you want to go, Amanda, you want to go, John, me, you want to go, we can't go.
Nope.
So the word went out that spectators will be limited to invitation only.
Yep.
All right. 2 tickets have been made available to each athlete via their athletic director. And I guess, is that for both schools?
I believe so.
Okay. Because I'm thinking, cause the way it reads, it's like, is that just for Mount Pleasant? And what if LaSalle wants to go? And it seems like the opposing team is now being penalized for something they had absolutely nothing to do with. But I understand why they're doing it.
Right.
To try to cut down on the craziness. So are you have the older high school students?
Yep.
Are you okay with what they're doing at Mount Pleasant?
I'm surprised that they're even allowing any spectators.
Okay.
Period. And I would be okay with that. I actually not even still sure if I'd be okay with my kid going to a game there at this point. And I'm not trying to be, judgmental or anything to that effect, because I know the players didn't have anything to do with it as much as the spectators. But we've had issues in our town playing other towns, and there's been like threats. I think social media drives a lot of it too. These kids get a hold of each other and they they taunt each other back and forth these days with other teams, and they start like a lot of stirring up before a game, and then fights break out. We've had a few games that have gotten canceled in our town. Violence I take very seriously. I'd be concerned about my kid going into an environment where there might be violence. I'd be okay if there's no spectators at all. And if anything, like, yes, 2 tickets for the away team per kid to have a family member present in case something happens, I guess that's probably like the next best option. But they can stream these games now too. But or switch it and not have it be at home at Mount Pleasant. Let there be a penalty for that team, for that environment, and make it an
Play it
away
at
game.
neutral site.
Neutral site.
Okay.
So maybe LaSalle would even host it. I don't know, but it goes. I don't know the
But
solution for
that
it.
favors
But
LaSalle because they probably play each other twice.
Yeah.
And so now both games are being played at LaSalle. That's
I don't know.
favoritism
I don't
there.
know the solution, but I don't think Mount Pleasant should be necessarily targeted as this like bad school now and never should have host games again. There's a lot of schools that violence is happening at these events, sporting events. Usually you hear about it for football games, especially where there's a larger crowd. But I don't know. It just feels like, again, another shift in our society. It's just.
When I read the X or Twitter tweet or whatever you want to call it now,
Yep.
it's not coming from Mount Pleasant High School. It's coming from the Providence school system. The superintendent looks like has made this decision that this is what's going to take place at the basketball, at least this one basketball game tonight. Amanda, you got any thoughts on this? You got young kids.
I'm actually okay with the 2 tickets per player. I think it's a smart move. That way, you still have somebody there supporting you and rooting for you. And if something does go wrong, you have somebody there to kind of turn to. I think it limits just people being mean and coming out for no good reason than to stir up trouble. So I'm actually okay with that. And I'm glad the superintendent did it and it wasn't on, like, the coaches
schools,
and the schools can kind of say, hey, like, our leader realized it was a problem and they cut it off at the head.
I just worry if this is another thing that's going to impact referees. I mean, there's enough issues right now with shortages in referees officiating games because of parent behavior, and then you add, now you have to worry about like people in the audience with guns and weapons, and is it just gonna? I don't know. It's what's happening, right? We've talked about that a lot in the air. What's happening?
The
in our
last event
society.
that took place, it did take place at halftime. So the players are gone. They're in the locker rooms. The refs are not there. They go to their area.
Yeah.
So hopefully they weren't being.
I don't know. I guess you
challenged
just say
or
at some
anything
point,
that.
like, oh, is it worth the $100 I get paid for this game? And I'm just forget this. Like, I'm not going to
Yeah.
put myself at risk possibly and be in the crossfire.
All right,
I don't know.
John, thoughts?
As Margaret Hamilton once said, "What a world! What a world!"
What a world.
Yeah, that's what it's come to,
on
yeah.
an education level, I saw a fascinating story when they ranked the schools in the state. Speaking of the Providence system, I noticed that Classical High School, which is the premier high school in Providence, had a 5-star rating. And while the state of Rhode Island has been managing the Providence school system, it's dropped to a 2.
What does that tell you?
Who could have guessed?
Well, yeah, you put the government in charge, and everything will get so much better. Well, no, I didn't read that. That's amazing. All right, so if you were planning to go to the LaSalle Mount Pleasant game tonight. You
Yes,
got to have a ticket. You got to have a special
don't.
invitation.
Or yeah,
Can you see people going to be selling their special invitations on the black market outside? $20. There you go. Who wants it?
I don't know. No.
All right.
It's good that they've done it.
Yeah,
But,
at least once. Send a message.
yeah.
You can't go see your friends play.
The more important thing is what's going to happen to those 4 kids, 4
Well,
students.
I don't know yet.
Oh,
Have they determined who was in possession of the gun yet?
That's one of the things they have to figure out is
Yeah.
who was in possession, who owns,
Yeah.
how did it get in there, how did they think to bring it to the campus,
Why did they think to bring
why
it?
did they bring it to the campus.
I don't know. Gotta protect myself.
There's a million questions
Oh,
revolving
sure,
around
sure.
that.
I mean, I know your kids are younger, but have you seen bad parents at any kind of sporting events that your kids are involved in?
So luckily, we don't do sporting events in our family.
All right.
That's a good strategy.
It is a very good strategy. We have karate, and we did do a karate tournament up in New Hampshire a couple months ago. But that was
different.
That was
Yeah.
different, So we've never. The only thing a couple years ago, Charlotte was a cheerleader, and we had a football game. And I remember going to the football game, and they're like, "Oh, the team we're playing against, the parents are rough, and they argue." And So, okay, well, we'll just have to, but I didn't see anything, so
No.
I'm okay with that. I don't do well with people being rude. I kind of yell at them back, so that might not
Oh,
be
so maybe you're part of the
She's
problem
gonna
then.
temper.
No, and not yell. Like, I don't like rude people. So if somebody's being rude to somebody else, I try to stand up for them and help them out. But I don't know in a situation like that I would be, just because of the fact of the day and age that we're in now.
Yeah.
You'd be the mom with the spread kindness T-shirt under the flannel.
Yeah.
Be like, stop fighting, spread kindness. Yes, that would be you.
That
That's
doesn't-
okay because I have those shirts. I do.
We
I
can
do.
be- that's our Guinness Book of World Records. How many times can we show our superpower?
Doesn't really work real well at like football games or basketball games or hockey
No.
games. I've seen some pretty rough stuff at hockey parents.
It's so inappropriate. I mean, I've shared in the air so many
But
times.
but they're yelling at the other parents.
Oh,
They don't
yeah.
want to fight the people on the.
fight 'em on the parents.
No.
Yeah, they don't want to fight the
No.
players. They want to take on the other parents in the parking
At this
lot.
point, if we know certain sports are going to do that, then make them stream them and
Right.
let nobody in.
Right.
You have made your bed, now you have to lie in it.
However, it's an economic thing too. You got to pay to get in. You got to pay to get into basketball, hockey, football games. Now you're cutting off the revenue.
Well, guess what? You now have to, if your son or daughter wants to play, you have to pay a
Pay
fee
more
every year.
Well, they have to pay a fee anyway.
Well, you have to pay more then, just to recoup until you can
Better,
behave.
that'll show you.
Wow. Coming from. Yeah.
All right, there we go.
Coming
I
from a
know,
nice
but
mom.
there's going to be ways for them to figure this out. I do, unfortunately. I love watching my kids play live when it's a healthy environment. The cringeworthy moments are when there's parents fighting, and I've only yelled back at another parent once, and it was embarrassing for myself afterwards. I calmed down and I was like, I can't
Were they
believe I
yelling
did that.
at your kid?
100%.
Oh, okay.
They called her on a dirty play, and
Yeah,
it
so-
absolutely
Oh,
wasn't.
wow.
And they said she
feel
was
like-
faking, and I'm like, she absolutely wasn't. And I could only take so much, and my blood was boiling, and I stood up, and I'm like, these are kids.
And then you feel
These
like you
are
were splashed
kids.
with mud.
Oh, and I just kept saying, she's a good girl. She does not fake. I know my kid.
my
Sit
baby."
down and shut up. Like, I just had enough. But I could see my kid's face too. They can hear everything that's
Oh,
happening
sure.
up in the stands. And I think that's the other part too that parents forget. Well, maybe they don't. I guess maybe some of their language is chosen, hoping the kids will hear it. But my daughter will come home and she's like, I couldn't believe some of the stuff these parents were
Parents.
saying to us. And that's the takeaway that's unfortunate, because now you're teaching this behavior. So that is going to be carried on generationally. So I do think we're going to be streaming games, and I think it's unfortunate parents are not going to be allowed to watch their kids
Live,
play.
yeah.
Hug them at the end of a game is the best feeling in the entire world. Tell them how proud you are of them, or the opposite if they're upset, and to be able to comfort them. To not have that moment taken away because of a bunch of idiot parents, it's unfortunate, but I do think that's what's going to happen.
Clearly, you've never served on a school board or a school committee where the parents will then come to the meeting and start banging their hand on the thing saying, wait a minute, are you telling me I have to drive them there to drop them off for the game, and then I got to go back later and pick them up, make 2 trips, and all I can do is watch it on my phone?
Yes.
Yeah,
Ain't gonna happen.
yeah.
All right.
Ain't gonna happen.
No, and that's why I watch those meetings from my home to not sit near those parents getting all cranky. This period of time is short.
Maybe
so-
if they back to money. Maybe if they up the price of the tickets. That's usually like, I don't know, $5 to get into a high school basketball game. Make it $30.
Just put
Well,
another-
you're going to
the parent-
filter.
the parent-
Only the rich ones are going to be there,
Well,
and they don't
okay.
fight.
Just bring in
Well, maybe.
TSA and make them go through
They're the
metal
worst
detectors.
ones. They're the most entitled ones yelling at the games.
But
I-
it would stop the students. I'm looking at the Mount Pleasant thing that took the 4 students that took place down there. Maybe it would stop them from going to the game because it's too expensive to get in.
I think you're going to be looking a little bit at not streaming services, but there will be some kind of like paid for this login to go onto the. Don't they do that for some of the state championship
Yes, they
games
do.
anyways?
Yeah.
So that's a way to capture your revenue, But this is the times
right.
we're in right now.
All right. We can take another break here at Coffee In. So, Amanda, time for a second message from Navigant Credit Union.
Thank you. So CD rates are still quite high out there right now. We have CD terms anywhere from 5 months to 5 years, depending on what you're looking for and what your need is. Just to highlight, one of our CDs is our 7-month CD with an annual percentage yield of 5.00. You can find more information on our website at www.navigantcu.org, or you can call our contact center at 401-233-4700.
All right, Amanda, thanks. And the Coffee In program will continue. Please stick around.
Krakow Deli Bakery and Smokehouse offers authentic homemade Polish food to make your next meal real special. Try our many varieties of hot and fresh pierogi with onions and dirty sour cream, or pick up golubki, kielbasa, babkas, or some fresh rye bread. We also offer a large selection of specialty and imported goods. We're open Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays from 9 to 6, Wednesdays 9 to 5, and Saturdays 8 to 5. Follow us on Facebook to learn about our weekly specials. Located at 855 Social Street in Woonsocket, Krakow Deli Bakery and Smokehouse has all the authentic Polish foods you love.
Join the St. Anne Arts and Cultural Center at Cello's in Woonsocket on Sunday, January 21st from 11:30 a.m. to 10 p.m. for dine-in or takeout. Cello's will donate up to 20% of your check to the center. Everyone who participates will be entered into a free drawing for a $50 gift card to Cello's and other prizes. A certificate is needed and can be obtained at Bealo's Flowers, The Honey Shop, A Cut Above Hair Salon, Vos True Value Hardware, Little General on Cumberland Street, or from the St. Anne Arts and Cultural Center website. Also, meet the 2024 Mardi Gras Queen contestants.
All right, it is Coffee In here on ON AM and FM. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan here with Amanda LaRose, Melissa Smith, and John Ward. All right, time for the fun stories. Ready?
Yep.
All
Fire.
right. Coming soon, mints. You know, like these things, mints,
Yeah.
mints that taste like Miller Lite beer.
Ew.
Yeah, the
Ew.
beer brand plans to start selling beer mints this Friday that are hailed as having the, quote, freshest of mint, unquote, but the great taste of Miller Lite.
Gross.
Ew.
That's gonna taste like a hangover in a candy. Like
Wait,
I,
wait a minute, I need to clear something up. I
right.
heard, I actually was watching the show last week, and you were talking about my driving out to California. You said, I hope they stop every 2 hours. This strikes out.
I was worried about your legs.
Oh my God! Just to let you know, we stopped every time we needed gas.
Aww.
And that was like
I think we did say. I wonder if John's
eight-
listening. John, if you're listening, I hope you're getting out and stretching your
First
legs.
day was 18 hours of driving. We stopped twice for gas. Went from Virginia Beach to Memphis. In the non-stop, except to stop for gas and
That's
get a
not
bite
enough.
to eat.
That's not enough.
And then I heard you say
That's
that.
funny.
And then you started stopping.
Oh, if she knew. No.
Did you have on compression
No,
stockings?
that was I did.
All right, well, all right,
Actually,
that's
no,
the
I
happy
did.
medium.
Well, anyway,
My son wouldn't let me without
Was he
it
listening
because
to it with you?
He's a physician assistant, so he told me, bring your
those.
compression stockings.
well, the mints will be alcohol free.
Oh,
In case
good.
you were wondering.
Oh, so it tastes like it, but not do anything.
Yes, the alcohol-free mints are being marketed for those taking part in Dry January. You mentioned that a little earlier, where people abstain from or at least cut back on the amount of alcohol they have for the month. The mints will be $5 for a tin of 40, and they're available at MillerLightBeerMints.com.
I can't believe, and I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, is how much the beer industry is plummeting with seltzers
Oh, yeah.
and all the attention on
and the
keto
funny thing is-
diets and everything else.
It seems to have tied in with, and though I know there's no correlation, I had heard a couple of years ago that the craft beer industry is actually falling off because
Yep.
it's just not that important to people. And now the beer industry, but it seems to have really gone to a cliff when this
Yeah.
Dylan Mulvaney thing came up and Bud Light had its problem. But yeah, everyone thought, well, everyone else is going to do well when they stopped drinking Bud Light. And some of them did better, but no, the whole industry is just falling
It's
off.
crazy.
What I think is troubling to me is, and I need to go find some way to reinvent this, is I used to drink my root beer flavored and cola flavored fizzies that were little tablets that you drop into a glass of water. Now, can they make a light beer fizzy that you simply take the tablet, drop it into a glass of water, and you have a
I don't
beer?
know,
That
John.
sounds really gross. I don't know what we're
Oh, you
talking
should have seen
about.
how gross the
Is this
root-
like an Alka-Seltzer?
It's like an Alka-Seltzer tablet, except it had flavoring. And so you could have a root beer, or you could have a cola. I'm not sure what other flavors were available, but when you take,
Amanda's face is
they were called fizzies, and you would drop them into water, and they would turn into a flavored drink.
I wonder how healthy that was for you.
Not at all. I'm
not
sure it was all sugar.
No, I just meant also something that would drop into still water and turn into fizz, like an Alka-Seltzer type tablet. I just wonder all the
Can't be
carbonation
any
in
worse
that
than
little.
Alka-Seltzer, right? For the carbonation
Do
part.
people still use that?
Alka-Seltzer?
Yeah.
Plop, plop,
Sure.
fizz, fizz.
Stuff
what a
works.
relief it is.
Does it really?
Oh,
I've
yeah.
never
Alka-Seltzer.
gone in that
Tastes
direction.
lousy,
Well, they
but,
do
yeah.
Alka-Seltzer Plus for decongestant.
Yeah.
Where you
They
can-
finally just made a chewable version of Pepto-Bismol, and I was thrilled because who can take
Chewable?
that? Like that is just.
I love that pink stuff.
Do you
No,
really?
no, I'm kidding.
No,
That's-
right. So
that
you
is-
would
that
be
is the
happy to
worst.
know they just made a chewable version
Oh,
of
okay.
it, which is like a
Oh,
little
it's a little
crunchy,
better.
little sweet tart type thing. Which,
Yes.
yeah,
Wallet Hub has
It
ranked
probably is a sweet tart.
probably is.
Wallet Hub has ranked the best states and the worst states to raise a family. They looked at family fun, health and safety, education and childcare, affordability, and socioeconomics. Massachusetts is the #1 state.
I can see that.
How about that? So it goes Massachusetts, North Dakota, Minnesota, Nebraska, and then New York. The bottom 5? Don't have to worry, John. It's not Rhode Island.
God, I almost had my breath.
Arkansas, Alabama, West Virginia, Mississippi, and New Mexico.
Not surprising at all.
No, a little surprised on New Mexico, but
I can see Massachusetts
In
being at
the-
the top. You got the mountains, you got the ocean, you got the city,
Yep.
you got lots of history.
23 through
Oh my God,
27
so
are.
why is she a witch? Doesn't
Melissa-
that tell you not to have those?
Melissa's just looking at something on John's phone.
Fizzies.
A fizzy
The
ad.
fizzies, all right.
And there's a cartoon witch on the packaging, and I
Wow.
feel like that should tell you right there. Maybe I shouldn't eat this or drink it.
All right. If you want to be right in the middle, by the way, Wyoming, Missouri, Hawaii, Oregon, and California. So I don't know where Rhode Island falls on this.
Oh, probably
On the other end,
23rd
or
something.
well, no, Wyoming's 23rd. So I don't know. Here's someone that you wonder what is she thinking. A Struthers, Ohio woman is being sentenced after her 2 young children were found on the roof of the house. Back in October, Skylar Secree was charged with child endangering after neighbors called police to report Secree's 4 and 5-year-old children were on the roof of her home. Just, playing, I guess. I don't know how they got out there. She has pled guilty to a charge of disorderly conduct and has been sentenced to 10 days in jail
There you go.
and 1 year of probation. The kids were not injured in the
That'll
incident.
fix it.
I wonder if she pled guilty so she'd go to jail. She's probably exhausted. Her kids are probably
Get me
out
away-
of control.
Get
Like,
me away from these kids.
I need a vacation.
I need a vacation.
10 whole days, a week and a half, you got it.
The judge said 10 days in jail. She said,
That's
Thank
awful.
you.
Meals.
Thank you. Can I start right now, please?
I actually am feeling a little I wonder if there's more to that story, and I think the mom it's a cry for help. She's probably like, I just can't. I can't control them anymore.
The 4 and the 5-year-old are out of control.
Oh my gosh.
All right. Are you waiting with bated breath on this one? In Massachusetts, hearings are scheduled for next week in Cambridge District Court for 28 people accused of being customers at those high-end brothels.
In Cambridge?
Yes, you didn't hear about this?
No.
I forgot who they arrested, but it's in Cambridge and Dedham and somewhere else in Mass.
I never
North
think
of
of
Boston.
brothels in New England. You think about brothels out in the.
Yeah.
Not
Well,
the
they,
West.
it's not like a real here's a
bet-
house on the street.
I'll
They-
bet you it's not Somerville.
Right.
Are these massage
going,
parlors?
No, they're going to high-end hotels, and that's why they've just been taking place there. So the men are accused of buying they're going to apartments in Cambridge and Watertown. Watertown's a little bit of a surprise. That were allegedly being used by the high-end brothel service. None of the names of the suspects will be released unless they are charged with a crime at the hearing. Prosecutors say the customer list includes names of prominent public officials and military officers. That's why people keep waiting. Well, who is it? You keep saying it's people prominent, but they haven't said who it
This
is
is
yet.
juicy.
It is, and especially the media up in Boston, they're just waiting.
Yeah.
Oh, who is on this list?
This is like the Jeffrey Epstein type.
Speaking-
where
yes.
everyone's
It is
waiting to
something
see
like
that
that.
list.
I think on Monday I said, they haven't mentioned that specifically Trump and Clinton did anything with the girls or anything wrong.
Right.
And as of Monday, that's what the truth was. But as of Tuesday, it all changed. And as of Wednesday, it's like, oh, yeah, they're all over it.
Are they?
So one of the witnesses or one of the complainants is mentioning how it was, and they've got videos, and they supposedly have videos of Trump and Clinton and other people.
Are they going to start naming names other than those two?
There were a few others, but yeah, it's
But no one-
it's going to be a slow process, I'm sure.
Why would it
I'd
be
still
slow?
rather
What-
get.
what is
I don't know.
I don't
I'd
know
still
why
rather figure
the-
out who actually killed Epstein because I know he didn't kill himself.
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
No. All right. In Massachusetts, Massachusetts House is expected to vote on a measure banning revenge porn during a formal session planned for today. The measure would ban the practice. Sorry about that. The measure would ban the practice of posting that kind of material and images and videos of someone online without their permission first. The House and Senate passed different forms of the bill in 2022, but it was not finalized before the end of the session. Massachusetts is just one of 2 states without one of these bills on the books. Oh, I thought they were leading the way.
I think they should pass a bill that says revenge against somebody who used revenge porn
Is
at
okay.
any level is permissible.
I don't know if that'll fly, John.
No?
I think we need an elementary topic to round out the show today, like a good, warm and fuzzy.
Speaking of warm and fuzzy,
Dolphin-born
you saw,
needs a
you saw a
name type
headline
sh-
in the call about the YMCA pool.
The pool is
being extended.
reopened.
Going to be extended for
Yeah.
a few months.
That's good.
And then the transaction is going to take place. And I was told, I looked on it outside before I came in. I was checking to see on GoFundMe if there was a page yet for fundraising for the pool operation in the future, but I didn't find it. But I'm told there is or is going to be a GoFundMe page set up to help fund the operation of the pool going forward, and arrangements are going to be made in the next 3 months. We're going to cover the interim, but then arrangements will be made in the next 3 months over the sale of the properties and how it's going to transpire beyond that point. It's being worked on. So look for it, and if you want to be helpful, you would get membership or donate to the cause to help keep the pool operating.
All right, very good. We've come to the end of the program. Thank you very much for listening in. As always, Amanda LaRose, thanks for coming in today.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
And when you drop off your daughter, you can swing by Tim's house and help bail him out.
I'll bring a.
You should have a very interesting conversation in your ride home. I feel like there's been some real
She's heading to school, so I gotta like wipe her brain.
of everything we talked about. I'm
Bring it back to elementary school
like
level.
9 years old in the lobby right now. Ooh.
She's fine. She's good.
She knows more than us. you know? Melissa Smith, thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
All right, John Ward, thanks for coming in.
Thank you very much. Remember, Monday is Martin Luther King Day. There's going to be a ceremony down at the end of South Main Street in Mason Street, and that'll happen on Monday morning. And everybody have a great holiday. We'll see you next Wednesday, and enjoy the God-given day.
Very good. This is Joe Callahan. Have yourself a great day, everyone. And stay tuned for Gary Smith and the crew. Do you remembers at 9:30 on ON Radio.
Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street. This is WOON Woonsocket Radio. And now, the news. Rhode Island Governor Dan McKee says the state is keeping a close eye on bridges and rivers across the state as the storm system passes through and now moves on, leaving a lot of rain to be run off. Flooding remains a concern, of course, along the coast and inner waterways. The streets are expected to back up during, of course, all the heavy travel areas. There could be big puddles, there could be ponding, and there could be a little flooding along the roadways because there was a lot of rain came down last night in a short period of time. Travel for the morning commute, of course, has been a concern. Oh, one more thing. Mass transit will be affected as the Bristol-Providence ferry service, which they were going to cancel anyway, has been canceled again today.